Hi everyone, please enjoy my interview with Rod Blackhurst on his film Dolly. Let's go. Hi Rod, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm Christina. I go by Spooky Queen Casey on social media. I make like movie reviews and stuff like that on TikTok.
Okay.
So I did get a chance to watch Dolly, and I do appreciate you chatting with me. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was like a brutal, haunting ride, something that's like right up my alley when it comes to horror movies. I really loved that it just dived right into that horror aspect. When I like first turned it on, I was like, oh, it's starting. Okay, like we are on a ride for this. And something that did like stand out to me was the person that played Dolly, the performance for that really stood out to me the most in that movie. It was so memorable.
Thank you.
I just have a couple questions for you if you don't mind.
Sure, of
Um,
course.
I was reading through some of like the little fun facts and stuff like that, and I saw that you said the film was inspired by fairy tales to like French to even Evil Dead, and I feel like it shows that in the tone. How'd you go about blending all those influences while still creating something that's like uniquely to you?
Oh, this is a question I've never been able to answer beyond that. And I mean this um, we, we people generally, you
Mhm.
too, I'm sure. We are products of our influences, right? Like the things that have mattered and made an impact, like inevitably kind of seep into the way we do things, or the way we make things, or the way we talk about things, or what like the choices we make. And I think that you know, I come from a background, I grew up without a TV in the
Hmm.
woods. I watched the mainstream scary horror movies, that were available as someone who was born in 1980. So for me, that was like Texas Chainsaw, Halloween. I mean, The Many Faces of Death, like things like there were like these things, right? I mean, and many other films, but The Shining, right? These
Hmm.
were very memorable films. And granted, they were widely available. To me, they left a strong impact. I also grew up reading because I grew up without a TV. So I
Hmm.
loved books, fairy tales. I mean, I read everything from Stephen King to the entire Wheel of Time series. Well, it was ongoing. I'm sure it's still ongoing. I gave up probably at a certain time. To like French literature, to John Steinbeck. I was like, I loved the novel form, right? The narrative form that exists in literature. And then I studied French literature, but really the French reference here is the French New Extremity movement, which to me were some of the most visceral horror films made in the past 20 years, right? Like Calvaire and Martyrs and Raw and High
Hmm.
Tension. And I think that and then of course loving David Lynch movies and trying to go, well, I'm just inherently when I make something, it is just a reflection. It is just it's like I put these things in a blender and then I pour them into a cup and like I don't know how they reveal themselves more than me just constantly as a filmmaker and as a director and as a leader going like, here's why I'm making this choice. And then like there's a reason for it then we just do it like and you
Yeah.
you describe it to people and you then hopefully you've described it well and then they make it better than the thing you have in your head and that's where collaboration is the best. And so I don't know, I mean I appreciate you saying like or kindly reflecting that like it's doing all these things well and uniquely in and of itself, and that is just my hope as a filmmaker to do that generally. So thank you for that.
Of course, thank you so much. I did also see that Dolly was filmed entirely on Super 16 millimeter, is that correct?
It's
Uh,
true.
what drew you into that format and how did it like shape the tone or the mood for that film?
Yes. So, Dolly is, uh, again, is being inspired by Texas Chainsaw, Halloween, The Shining, is like, um, but the grimy, grittier qualities of those movies. I mean, Texas Chainsaw, of course, is like the grittiest and the grimiest and the gnarliest. But really, truly, film was at first a response to a practical consideration. We're filming outside during the day in the woods, and film emulsion can handle highlights in the sky and in the sun better than digital cameras can, digital cinema cameras can. Um, and so we couldn't afford 35 millimeter. We could barely afford 16 millimeter. We basically begged Kodak to give us everything they did. And yeah, we just it was a practical thought originally, and then it really became apparent that it was the right aesthetic choice because the aesthetic matches the narrative. Like these two things speak to each other. The craft of the film exists because of the narrative reasons and the narrative homages of the film. That there's a symbiotic relationship between them. So it I can't take much more credit than it was than that. It was like, well, we'll just put these two things together for these two reasons, and then boom, it takes on a life of its own, and it is what it is now. But yes, I would like to make movies on film. It's just not ever. Who knows if we'll ever get to do it again? But right now, we've done it. We done did it. So
I mean, I
at
love
least
the
once.
16 millimeter. I really thought it fit the vibe very well and the tone of the movie.
Thank you kindly.
What was the casting process like? Because I noticed some familiar faces like Ethan Suplee and Sean William Scott. And then you also have Max, who played Dolly, who I believe you said has no acting. So what was that casting process like?
I mean, so I will say, like, it's interesting. Like, Max was up until very recently a professional wrestler, and that's
Mhm.
all performance, right?
Yeah.
It's art, right? It's performance art. It's acting, and it's acting with physicality, not words. And so we knew from moment one that we needed somebody that could do what Max did. And I actually can't. I don't. We never even found somebody to reach out to before I first found Max, and really
Mhm.
Ross O'Connor, my producing partner, found Max. I found a flyer for the National Wrestling Association. It was like, what about this person? They're they look like a badass. So but like and it's so crazy because in my head, like, Dolly is now Max. Max is Dolly. Like, they are one and the same. And they're an incredible performer. And I hope that now that Max's wrestling career is sort of like entering a new chapter, I mean, I think they're no longer with the National Wrestling Association, maybe as of a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that I hope that people go, oh man, you are gifted, right? Like, you can say so much with so little. We haven't even heard Max speak. I mean, Max will say this like themselves, they're very shy,
Mhm.
which is fantastic because they're menacing as a performer, and I'm like, that's the beauty of acting, right? You can be something you aren't. That's why we make things generally to make believe, right? But all the other cast members are just friends, people that I've made other movies with, or people that I've known for a while. And when you make something in the woods where you know it's going to be hard, you call people that you want to spend your time with. And that's no different for me. And that's why, yeah, that's why this movie has Ethan Suplee in it. It's our second movie together.
Mhm.
Sean William Scott, we've been friends now, I don't know, maybe since 2018 or 19 we met. And I've been trying to find something to make with him for a long time. And it's just salt of the earth, a good lad. And yeah, you call your friends. Call your
Yeah.
friends.
Well, like I said, I feel like the Dolly's performance in the movie really stood out to me, especially because that seems like a performance that could be a little tricky to do. It's a lot of body movement, a lot of like moving of the body performing rather than word performing. And sometimes I feel like the body movement, how you're doing that can be a lot harder than just words itself.
Right. Dolly has to say so much with little movements,
Hmm.
like a turn, yeah, everything. The way they walk, the speed at which they move, the like, yeah, when to get big, when to be small. I mean, and yeah, Max, you know, I don't know, Max did their home. I don't know, Max on their own did all this work and
Hmm.
brought to me all these ideas about like how how can we establish Dolly's got all these reactions to things, varying reactions, like program behavior, like we all do, right? Like if you get mad, if I get mad, I probably react this way. Well, Dolly's going to do the same, and it needs to be a reflection of their upbringing and the stimulus and nurture that they've gone through, right? And like the life they've been living and what they've been having to navigate. And so Max just, I don't know, like Max came to me in pre-production, was like, here's all this research I did. Here's this case study I found of this young girl who was held hostage in California. for like 14 years raised in a room, and here's how they walked when they entered the real world, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is also collaboration 101. You rely on people to bring you ideas that are better than the ideas you have, and then you just empower them to do that, right? And then they make it all work together. So I have to give credit to Max for I don't know, for blowing my mind, and I hope blowing, well, every horror fan's mind, but I hope also other people in the film industry see this and go, oh man, right? Like, we like maybe I should look. Maybe this is what I'm trying to say, Christina.
Yeah.
Max is not like was looking for, had a lifelong dream and a goal, and no one had ever given them that chance, and it's we can be many different things. Take a chance on somebody, right? Take a chance on somebody and help them find their way. Like, support them and who they want to be and what their strengths are, and they can accomplish big stuff. And I think Max is on their way.
I absolutely agree with that. I think it was a great casting choice. I'm really glad your guys' paths crossed so both of you can have that moment
Me
with
too.
each other. Because, like I said,
Yeah,
great
me too.
performance behind you.
Thank you. I mean, again, I will tell Max.
Yes, absolutely, please. I just have a couple more for
Sure.
you. Um, what is your plan with Dolly? Where do you see like going with this film, franchise wise, sequel wise? Like what do you see with this?
Yeah. So Dolly was like, I mean, truly like a creative, I don't know, a creative way to make something that could allow me to take care of my family. And I mean that, like, I have two kids. I'm in my mid 40s. I've made a bunch of things, and trying to figure out a way to create something that I could honestly make a living with, and something I would like to do and shepherd for as long as possible. I mean, I've sold other movies and written other movies, and really have been like trying to generate, you know, intellectual property for a long time, and you realize that, like, you once you start giving your creative like fire away, that people don't give it back to you, right? They take it and they run with it, and it's no longer yours. And I thought, well, we can't keep doing that, right? It's not a sustainable path as a creative individual, and as a father, and as a husband. So Dolly was like, again, like a doubling down on all the things we've learned, and go, well, we've made a bunch of other movies, they've made a bunch of other people money. How can we do this and keep it, have it be ours and have agency? Start small and scale it very quickly. And really, part of even the original business proposal for the movie to all of our incredible investors was like, we have here's the trilogy on paper. Here's the first three films, and then from there, here's all the paths we can take. And so really, I think knowing what it was from moment one helped everyone go, oh man, you know exactly what you want to be doing and why you want to be doing it.
Mhm.
And that's allowed us to make the film now. And now we circle the wagons and we quietly go forward and do it again, and we scale it up, and we keep growing it. Again, as I don't know, self-belief, vote for yourself, like,
Yeah,
so
I'm
yeah.
really looking forward to whatever projects you have planned next to for it. I'm definitely invested.
Thank you.
Um, well, I think that is all I had. I really appreciate again you talking to me. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for making such a great gnarly film that again, like it was right up my alley. I love goriness. I love like French horror and stuff like that, and it reminded me of this. So I really enjoyed it, and I know once it shows at the festival, I know I definitely will be talking about it on my page and all that. So I really appreciate it.
That's so kind. Thank you so much.